Right now, a hidden economic shockwave is tearing through the United States economy. It is hitting your bank account faster than you can even realize. On Tuesday, the government dropped a financial bomb that completely blindsided Wall Street. Inflation has officially skyrocketed to 3.8%. That is a massive 3-year high. This single number just changed everything. It completely crushed all hopes of a peaceful economic recovery. Billionaire hedge fund managers are quietly dumping their positions. Everyday Americans are staring at gas station signs in complete disbelief. The dream of lower interest rates is officially dead for 2026. A brutal new crisis in the Middle East has locked down the most critical energy route on Earth. It is draining the wealth of ordinary citizens every single day. If you have money in the stock market, cash in the bank, or a normal household budget, you are standing directly in the splash zone. The ground beneath our feet is shifting. What is happening behind closed doors right now is terrifying. Welcome back to the channel.
Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a massive crisis that most mainstream media outlets are too afraid to fully break down. We are living through a historic turning point in the global economy. For months, we were told that inflation was under control. We were promised a soft landing. We were told that your grocery bills and energy costs would finally return to normal. But behind the scenes, a completely different reality was brewing. The newly released April Consumer Price Index numbers just shattered that narrative into a million pieces. The cost of living is rising at an exponential speed. The primary culprit is a devastating energy shock coming straight out of Iran. This conflict has pushed the global supply chain to its absolute limit. It has forced the average price of gasoline to explode past $4.50 a gallon across the country. This is not just a temporary blip on a chart. This is a systemic shockwave. It is forcing Wall Street to revalue every single asset class, from big tech to crypto. In this video, we will break down exactly how this happened. We will look at who caused it, why the Federal Reserve is trapped, and which specific stocks are about to face a brutal meltdown. Pay close attention to every second of this breakdown. The decisions you make with your money in the next 48 hours could determine your financial survival for the rest of the decade.
Let us look closely at the data. The Bureau of Labor Statistics shocked the world when they announced that consumer prices jumped by 0.6% in just a single month. On an annual basis, that brings headline inflation to a staggering 3.8%. Wall Street did not expect this. The smartest analysts on the street predicted a much lower number, but they completely underestimated the devastating reality of the war with Iran. To truly understand why your local gas station is charging an arm and a leg, we have to look thousands of miles away. Tehran has effectively blocked access through the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow strip of water is the most critical maritime choke point in the world. It handles nearly 1/5 of the entire global supply of oil and liquefied natural gas. With that gateway choked off, the global energy market is in absolute chaos. Brent crude oil has surged past $109 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate is hovering dangerously at $105. Energy giants like ExxonMobil and Chevron are seeing their stock prices march higher as global supply disappears. But while oil executives are celebrating record revenues, the rest of the stock market is feeling an incredible amount of pain. Energy prices alone accounted for over 40% of the entire monthly increase in inflation. Think about that for a second. Gas prices are now more than 28% higher than they were just 1 year ago. On platforms like Reddit and X, everyday consumers are posting pictures of their receipts with captions full of absolute panic. People are realizing that every single dollar they earn is losing purchasing power at a terrifying speed. The pain does not stop at the pump. When fuel prices skyrocket, it costs significantly more money to transport goods across the United States. Retail giants like Walmart and Target are facing massive logistics bills. To protect their profit margins, they have no choice but to pass those costs directly down to you. Grocery costs rose 0.7% in April alone, led by a sudden spike in meat and dairy prices. Airfares have absolutely exploded by over 20%. Major airlines like United and Delta are watching their fuel expenses consume their quarterly profits. Investors are reacting with intense fear. They are dumping shares of consumer-facing companies because they know Americans are running completely out of discretionary cash. The atmosphere on Wall Street right now is pure tension. The trading floors are filled with a sense of dread that we have not seen in years. This is a massive collision between greed and reality. For the past year, retail investors have been riding an absolute high. The explosive boom in artificial intelligence has driven the Nasdaq to historic peaks. Everyone felt invincible. People believed that AI technology would magically shield the economy from any real-world damage. But an economy cannot run on microchips alone. It runs on oil. It runs on gas. It runs on physical goods moving across oceans. The brutal reality of the Middle East conflict has officially pierced the tech bubble. Billionaire investors are speaking out. They are warning that we are entering a dangerous period of stagflation. That means slow economic growth combined with high, sticky inflation. It is the absolute worst-case scenario for any portfolio. Retail investors who piled into risky assets are getting completely caught off guard. They are watching their hard-earned savings evaporate as the broader market corrects. The psychological toll is massive. People went from dreaming about early retirement to worrying about how they will afford to fill up their tanks just to drive to work on Monday morning. But what happened next shocked Wall Street even more. Just as traders were trying to digest the horrific inflation numbers, a major political update turned the entire global market upside down. Former President Donald Trump took to social media to completely reject Iran's latest response to a United States peace proposal. Trump called the overture from Tehran totally unacceptable. He warned that his patience was nearly gone within minutes of that statement hitting the internet. Crude oil prices spiked another 3%. Hopes for a quick reopening of the Strait of Hormuz vanished instantly. The tone between Washington and Tehran has become significantly more confrontational. To make matters worse, intense rumors are circulating about aggressive new China tariff proposals coming from the Trump administration. Economists are warning that if these sweeping tariffs are implemented, the supply chain will face a double whammy. Big tech giants like Apple, which rely heavily on global manufacturing, are suddenly staring at a massive crisis. If tariffs take effect while energy costs are still high, the price of your next smartphone or laptop could literally double. This sudden fear completely broke the momentum of the retail market. The highly public speculative rally in meme stocks is experiencing an absolute meltdown. Reddit's favorite stocks are collapsing under the pressure. AMC plummeted over 11% in a brutal pre-weekend sell-off. GameStop is fighting a losing battle to maintain its key support levels. Even the cryptocurrency market is not safe from the fallout. Bitcoin lost its upward momentum and slid heavily back toward the $80,000 mark. Risk-averse traders are pulling their capital out of digital assets as fast as they can. They are rushing into safe havens because they know a massive storm is brewing. Now, let us look at the most dangerous hidden risk in this entire equation. The Federal Reserve is completely trapped. For months, the central bank has cited a strict target inflation rate of 2%. They wanted to see clear evidence that prices were cooling down before they started cutting interest rates. But with inflation climbing rapidly to 3.8%, their entire strategy has been thrown into the trash. The dream of cheaper borrowing costs is officially dead for the foreseeable future. Interest rates currently sit at a high range of 3.5% to 3.75%. All eyes are now turning to Kevin Warsh, the incoming Federal Reserve Chair whose confirmation is expected very soon. The Trump administration has repeatedly pushed for lower interest rates to spark economic growth. But Kevin Warsh is stepping into an absolute minefield. He will have to convince the rest of the Fed's voting members to cut rates during a massive energy-driven inflation spike. If the Fed maintains these high rates to fight inflation, mortgage rates will stay painfully expensive. Credit card debt will continue to pile up. The cost of auto loans will remain out of reach for millions of working families. The threat of a severe recession is growing larger by the day. The only thing keeping the entire financial system from a total collapse right now is the sheer resiliency of a few select tech companies. Advanced Micro Devices and Supermicro Computer recently released exceptionally strong earnings guidance. This AI-driven revenue is acting as a temporary shield for the Nasdaq. Investors are piling into these hardware plays because artificial intelligence represents real, tangible demand. But can a handful of semiconductor companies really save the entire United States economy from a global oil blockade? The honest answer is no. The institutional smart money is already making its move. A historic bloodbath is taking place in the bond market. Professional investors are dumping United States government bonds at an alarming rate.
Right now, a hidden economic shockwave is tearing through the United States economy. It is hitting your bank account faster than you can even realize. On Tuesday, the government dropped a financial bomb that completely blindsided Wall Street. Inflation has officially skyrocketed to 3.8%. That is a massive three-year high. This single number just changed everything. It completely crushed all hopes of a peaceful economic recovery. Billionaire hedge fund managers are quietly dumping their positions. Everyday Americans are staring at gas station signs in complete disbelief. The dream of lower interest rates is officially dead for 2026. A brutal new crisis in the Middle East has locked down the most critical energy route on Earth. It is draining the wealth of ordinary citizens every single day. If you have money in the stock market, cash in the bank, or a normal household budget, you are standing directly in the splash zone. The ground beneath our feet is shifting. What is happening behind closed doors right now is terrifying. Welcome back to the channel.